and not against the enemy's team composition. And so Nuguri, on the Camille, he'll be able to eventually take over the game in the later stages and then be able to win out. But I expect that this game will have a lot more action. Honestly, if we get to 10 minutes and there's no kills with this kind of a team composition, I'm going home. I'm taking you with me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you be subject.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really do.
I'm trying to look out for you.
In fact, we should probably take these teams with us as well. Because, yeah. I just hope that a repeat of game number 2 does not happen again. And with a composition like the one that Griffin has put together, that is not what is on the cards as far as what their comp should be trying to do. So at least there is that. Plus, over this side, we've got ShowMaker on his famous Zoe, Nuguri, his famous Camille there. Their 4-1 composition will be actually pretty capable. As this game goes on, Nuclear has that get-out-of-jail-free card as far as the bullet time is concerned if they're trying to defend some sort of siege, to make sure that Nuguri has as much room as possible in order to get back in time for the next wave, potentially, or continue pushing things out. So I like what DAMWON's comp is able to do as the game moves forward. A bit mono-red on the side of Griffin. Let's see whether they can pilot it to a victory, and at least one that is going to be a little bit more exciting as this game continues. As Irove is going to be immediately condemned by the Kalista. Yes, oath sworn, to use the correct vernacular.
And you know, Atlus, I'm so proud that you were picking up. You said mono red. That is accurate.
I'm learning.
You are
I'm learning. You know, we've been doing this for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
You know, 100% of the time. These are the things you got to pay attention to.
I like how much you extrapolate.
Yeah,
on the broadcast.
I am a bit of an extrapolator.
You are, and you infer a lot as well.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I'm all about inferences and extrapolating.
Ooh.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
I sometimes dabble in hypothesis.
Ooh.
Also.
Do you?
Yeah. Every now and again. I don't get ahead of myself or anything like that. Don't go crazy. As Ucal walking around in circles, Nuclear standing in a brush, Tarzan doing the same thing, but he's, of course, Tarzan. That's what he wants to be doing.
I really like Canyon's skin here.
Yep, skin choice, certainly up there.
It's the golden
piggy bank.
Yeah, the piggy bank. And always a fan of piggy banks.
Absolutely. And if you're not a fan of your piggy bank, you can purchase that piggy bank from the Riot store using the money within your IRL piggy bank. Turn your piggy bank into another piggy bank.
Yeah.
I've said piggy bank too many times, and it's now lost all meaning.
It really has. But that is all right.
Ucal deals with that wave very effectively. Both of our top laners, they meet on the top side. Let's see whether Nuguri can have a game like game number 2, and unlike game number 1, where he wasn't able to put Sword down. He just walks towards Sword and takes 0 damage, utilizing the passive. I like it a lot.
Meanwhile, Nuclear and Hoyt just sort of sitting down there in bot lane. Cat detaches and gets right back on immediately. And in terms of opening clears here, you have Tarzan doing a very bizarre one. You have him doing blue into Gromp and now pathing into red. So maybe we're going to actually see some action after this red buff. If he transitions into a full clear from here, I'm not going to know what to think.
Well, I feel like that has been the theme of today's broadcast. Not necessarily knowing what to think. It's Nuclear on the bottom side with the help of Hoyt. He's going to be pretty capable dealing with these minion waves underneath the turret. Good trade back there from Nuguri, but Sword is making sure that he doesn't at least roll over this time around. As you mentioned, maybe without enough energy.
This is really good right now. Ucal,
Canyon
he
knows
has
exactly
the priority.
what's going on.
Yeah.
ShowMaker's picked up an exhaust. Now Canyon's going to move on over. They do have vision, but it is going to be taken there by Tarzan. But now the fight is on. Nuclear moving on down here. The cat on a book is just running around, trying to get in position as Sword. Gets into position himself, but he's ignoring the MF. And the first blood goes to the Camille very, very quickly. Nuclear without a flash, but has used the barrier, and the heal was available there from the Yuumi. And the Aatrox did basically nothing in that fight. Now ShowMaker is just looking for Ucal. Another auto, but a bubble will do it as well. And DAMWON, they grab 4 kills within the first 3.5 minutes. And yes, this game is very different from game number 2.
And DAMWON are just in a massive advantage right now. And we got more kills here in the first 3.5 minutes than we did last game for almost the majority of the game.
I think 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Was sitting on around
See?
2-1.
And they say we don't have the script.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
this is certainly looking better, though, because the acceleration is, I want to get the mathematics
I
on
mean,
that one as far as a comparison.
doesn't want to
that's
go,
ludicrous.
turned into does want to go.
Yeah.
As they collapse on this invade. Sword a little bit later on his teleport. Not that it was going to really matter all that much. And so, even though they had all of this planned and set up, that control ward inside of that brush, just to the right of the Scryer plant, paying off so well. And ShowMaker also able to run there with the exhaust.
자, 조이의 무대.
빛의 망토!
유닛.
빛의 망토!
죽여.
빛의 망토? 빛의 망토! 나이스!
야, 혼자 풀몇 개 줬어.
Nice work. And excited DWG Gaming very early on in this match. So already, I mean,
Lost
Griffin,
chapter
they won
on
the
Zoe.
game 1. And yeah, that's 2-0 Zoe already.
Really
at level
not
at
supposed to be happening.
level
And also,
4.
She is only level 4 right now, so Galio's ahead in the CS department, or in the XP department, which is a little bit surprising. But, up in top lane, Nuguri ahead of Sword, and that is more problematic. Nuguri also has double buffs. He has a Sheen.
Yeah, double buffs and a Sheen. And this wave crashing down towards Sword. This is... He already was crushing the lane beyond belief.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Almost getting 4 times the CS of his opposition there as Nuguri walks on over. Gets some vision down, but I don't think he's too scared of what Tarzan's going to offer this situation. And his minion wave was just prepared. As this is going to just overlap to almost every lane. Maybe Viper will be able to get himself back into a leading position, because as you can see, he does have the double Doran's Blade, so as far as combat stats for this stage of the game, he is ahead. And he's on the Kalista with the Thresh in his lane, which does have a lot of lane dominance. It's sort of the only good news that you can really be talking about here, because there is only bad stories to be had on the Griffin side.
And Griffin right now, I mean, they have the level 6 on Galio, but the lane state in bottom, not super ideal for them. And, I mean, it looks like they're just dancing, honestly. I have no idea what is really going on. As Irove is just dancing back and forth. And you can see Nuclear and Hoyt just backing up. They know that Galio is moving down into the right-hand side jungle. Nuguri has...
Yeah, Hextech Ultimatum comes in. He's got a level advantage. Okay, yeah, not going to find it. So the sweep doesn't come in. That will spare Sword for the moment.
And what a counter gank this could end up being by Canyon in the event that Tarzan would try to commit to this.
Waiting in the wings. Oh, trying his very best to bait this one out as the plate was given over to Nuguri. He was being sneaky, waited around in the brush before he goes back home. We'll see whether Phage can actually be picked up on this back or whether it will just be some components. And yes, the completed Phage now there for this Camille. And Camille in this matchup, we've spoken about it many times before. Camille is intentionally picked into Aatrox, but shouldn't actually win the lane until a few items come, right? Like,
But
it's
she's
not
so far
necessarily like
ahead.
you're supposed to like crush the lane. Having said, Nuguri is doing exactly that right now.
It's just completely dominating Sword up there in the top lane. Sword only with the Kindle Gem and a Longsword right now is so far behind in that matchup that even if you end up bringing Tarzan up, if you don't kill Nuguri, things are just going to get so much worse. And so, right now a Mountain Drake is live, which both parties should actually be really interested in trying to pick up whenever they can.
Yeah.
But Canyon now with level 6, Ucal continuing on the left-hand side, and honestly, it's a bit disappointing. ShowMaker, he came back to lane and with Lost Chapter versus Double Doran's Ring, and nothing really got achieved out of it. I have no idea how we had
He
such
lit
a
the gargoyle on fire.
Okay,
That's
well,
pretty cool.
he did, and the gargoyles are already on fire due to the skin.
Hey, that's true.
You ever think about that?
Well, I do now.
Now, did he light him on fire, or did he add more fuel to the fire?
Ooh, well, we'll have to find out.
Perspective.
We'll have to find out as this game continues on, because we saw Ucal with a lot of fire in his belly, theoretically, in the last one, as the bubble once again going to land. This is, yeah, lighting some different kind of fires. Some some old Zoe fires being relit, in my mind, as ShowMaker.
Ooh.
Oh, that one would have been scary, but he gets a plate for it anyway. A bit of congratulations. There's some more sparkles being added here. As Ucal... Oh my god, if that bubble had landed, or if ShowMaker had had Ignite, that's just a dead gargoyle. So he has to go home. Jarvan's going to be there to pick up the lane farm, which is certainly good news for a jungler, but not good news for the game state for Griffin. Just really does feel like that first skirmish has said goodnight to this game. See whether Griffin can actually find some sort of ability to counteract it, as Nuguri just dashing over a wall, having a good time, getting into the enemy jungle, continuing to put down visions, continuing to take even more control and add more pressure. And Nuguri, when he's on, when it comes to like inflicting pressure on your opponent, he's probably one of the best in the league.
Yes.
We talk about best top laners for different reasons. I feel like Summit in a 1v1, very, very strong. Keen is a holistic top laner, definitely one of our top laners. But Nuguri, when it comes to applying pressure, is absolutely the best.
Really is sort of his forte.
Sometimes to a fault.
Yeah.
Which is why we wouldn't necessarily go overboard with the praise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly a different story with Summit. I feel like there's something that goes on that we just don't understand. I don't think he understands it.
And Nuguri almost riding Sword 40 CS.
Yep.
At 10 minutes. A lot of this is a byproduct of the skirmish that did happen in bottom, but he's also just doing a pretty phenomenal job. Griffin did get the Mountain Dragon, but oh man, this could be another very ugly
There's
fight.
The final chapter. The snare is going to land onto Ucal. He flashes in a very odd direction. Not sure what that one's about, but does avoid death just barely. But Hextech Ultimatum is going to kill him as an afterthought. And now Viper has to utilize the ultimate in order to get out of there. Tarzan takes a gigantic chunk from the Paddle Star. They've taken what they wanted. Ucal goes down. The dragon was taken by Griffin, actually. So
yeah,
that's great for them.
This
and Sword's now given some time.
Yeah. This allows him to recover. Not the cleanest CSing, all things considered. He's losing out on time trying to get that turret plate. In fact, he might not even get it because he elected to queue the spellcasters without letting them pile up with the melees. No, he's going to end up getting it. And now he's going to try to recall, but
that wave's going to crash again, and I don't know whether he's going to be able to get back to it.
I just don't know if Camille was actually able to cancel Aatrox there with the hook shot and sweep. But you can see in the replay, Ucal, he tries to flash out for a heroic entrance to try to escape, but it just doesn't even matter at that point. There was no way that he was getting away from the members of DAMWON, as it was a full-on retreat after this one. And the Aatrox, he doesn't even scale in this team composition. The Camille is just going to be able to take over now with the Trinity Force completed up there in top lane. Sword has to be really careful.
Has brought it back to a 30 CS margin instead of the 40 or 50, which is what it was before. So, I mean, if you're looking for positives, there's that. And also that Mountain Drake prevents a perfect game against Griffin. Another positive. Look at me, I'm on a roll. It's now Canyon in position to try and get a dive down onto Sword. 3 turret plates left. Here is, that's a great playback. Nuclear immediately going to flash as Zoomies, barrier, everything. In fact, every single summoner spell of the bottom lane in DAMWON is going to be utilized in order to survive that. It's a great engage there by Irove. In the meantime, the rest of DAMWON is just obliterating the map.
And now Canyon and Nuguri looking like they're going to end up diving onto Sword. Tarzan's here a little late.
Yeah, Sword is actually going to get out here, but Canyon has to flash Nuguri as well. He's looking for a double. Hextech Ultimatum comes in, and they've just outplayed it. Canyon, without the Arctic Assault, now trying to get out. And remember, there's no flash here. Cataclysm's done, but great first knock up there from Sword. Canyon, Arctic Assault finally comes on in, but a little bit greedy there from DAMWON.
And it really looks like they misplayed the dive, and then obviously Tarzan showing up and Sword doing what they could to play around it. Ended up managing with them getting the kill onto Nuguri. So a bit of fresh air if you are a Griffin fan watching this.
Yep.
A little bit of breathing room. Sword catching up in the XP department, getting a lot of CS as well. And we just take a look at this. So Camille doesn't have her ultimate yet. And combo goes off completely. And it's so surprising. Nuguri elects to try to mix up his damage onto Tarzan and Sword rather
I mean,
than just try
Hextech
to...
Ultimatum would have killed Tarzan if he hadn't a stopwatch.
Yeah, he had the stopwatch available. Now right here, Aatrox had already flashed out, so if Nuguri is doing everything, he can just flash onto Aatrox.
보자, 보자, 보자.
Let's do this, let's do this. He sounds so
안 될 것 같아.
sad about saying it, you hear it?
Yeah.
Almost defeated.
Well, it hasn't been defeated yet, and this is certainly going to be an avenue back into the game. Still, 4,000 gold is the deficit, and Nuguri still controls this lane regardless of how the chips fell in that last exchange. Sword wants to try and get some sort of engage, but the Hextech sweep working out very well there, and Nuguri's just avoiding everything. Tarzan's going to move on back in, though. Hextech Ultimatum now back off cooldown. Nuguri just going to burn down. That is going to be enough damage with the Cataclysm and the red buff. And 2 in a row for Nuguri after everything was going so well.
And honestly, this is getting a bit problematic. This is allowing the Aatrox back into the game. Tarzan starting to also get a lot going for them. They're going to manage to get this second Rift Herald of the game. And if you're ShowMaker right now, you're feeling really bad because you had so many advantages from mid lane. You had all the turret plates,
Yep.
you got the turret, and bot lane is also losing right now for DAMWON Gaming. Nuclear and Hoyt losing a lot in the CS department, and this has closed the gold advantage to less than, or it's actually about 2,000, which is really scary,
Yeah.
all things considered.
This is what this composition from Griffin needs to be doing as well, because they have sort of that mid-game wombo combos type team composition that wants to play around those 2 items that are so important for champions like the Kalista, like the Aatrox. You want to get towards your cooldown reduction as Aatrox as quickly as possible, and then you're basically just augmenting what is already there. Going to have a look at this replay one more time of how it all went down, and Nuguri actually played this very nicely, but unfortunately, when there's a jungler there, there's just nothing that he's actually able to do to answer
Now,
this.
he had flash, but he's just greeting. He could have easily flashed out of any of this way sooner and saved all his HP, and then eventually made it out, but he saved it until the very end. Tagged by the red smite, ended up just falling to it.
But it's not like Nuguri to play full tilted. You know, he doesn't necessarily play massively worse if he's being camped or anything like that. Doesn't let it get under his skin. We'll see whether that is going to remain the case as he walks all the way around that control ward. And now he's brought his friends. In fact, he's brought all of them.
Yeah.
Sword is very much dead underneath this turret. World Ender utilized. I wouldn't press any buttons, to be honest. Sword, you don't want to put anything on cooldown when you are definitely going to be going down. As the minion wave's going to conga line towards that top lane outer turret. And DAMWON will be able to collect that as well. Some respite given to the rest of the map, but honestly, Griffin didn't really have much of an answer. So what just happened there?
Well, at this point, DAMWON probably just going to end up waiting until the next Infernal Dragon. Going to continue to just complete core items, as there's no real reason to fight. You can now, at this point, just wait for Griffin to come into you and allow the Camille to begin her split push phase. And even though there's a Galio on the enemy team and he's able to heroic entrance, it doesn't really matter. Viper going to try something here.
Yeah, big flash forward from Viper. Gets into the brush. Nuclear, absolutely nothing he can do. So aggressive, but he knew exactly what he was capable of there as Nuguri looking for this 1v2 again. Flash comes out. Nuguri doesn't have his available, but now Sword doesn't have his jungler anymore. Tarzan not going to be able to put down this Rift Herald anytime soon, and definitely not in this lane. It's actually timing out relatively quickly.
Well, the enhanced recall by the Rift Herald is going to let him get back to the base faster.
Needs to find a location in order to put that one down. Hopefully he doesn't put it too far forward as we have a look at the player perspective of Viper here. Throws down the heel just for the extra movement speed. Guarantees that kill comes in. Picks up a lantern, all in a day's work there for our friend Viper. Slowly but surely, he's just crushing this game as well.
I was really interesting. Tarzan wrote... Let me think what that image just was. I think 1950 top, but the top was written in English. That was really surprising.
Interesting. It's kind of cool.
I don't know if anyone else noticed that.
I certainly didn't, but I'm glad you brought it up.
All right, thank you, Atlus. I'm glad I have you there for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Turret is not going to require Shirley, but she had nowhere else to go, and they're going to try and push her towards this inner turret as well. But there is a Yuumi and a Piggy. Cat, Pig, Camille. Should be enough to at least take it down. Gets one charge, though, and that's exactly what they wanted out of her here. Sword missing some CS. I'm glad we panned over just to check that out before moving towards the mid lane here as ShowMaker has picked up a Super Soaker. Tarzan on vision. As ShowMaker finds the bubble. Canyon not actually going to follow up on that one just yet. Portal jump. Not wanting to risk it is ShowMaker over the wall.
And we got only 26 seconds now until the Infernal Dragon comes up. This should just be able to be easily picked up by DAMWON, but if there's going to be any hope in this game, it'll be Viper on this Kalista.
And he is charged up. He's very, very close to grabbing that Rudon's Hurricane, which is, of course, going to be that huge power spike that every Kalista player dreams of. Canyon waiting in the brush, but Irove just going to wander on in there with his Moby Boots. He's got a QSS as well, so actually feeling pretty good to move forward and actually face check a lot of these brushes. I like that decision.
Yeah. Yuumi just dealing so much damage to really try to wither down the opponents here as Camille is up there in top lane. Okay.
Trouble just a little bit. Teleport available from Nuguri. His sword is going to take the lantern in order to get out.
They don't need
this
him.
Dragon Pit, and then Nuguri just says, this is going to be my job this game.
What?
Teleport from the Galio. Head up towards this top side, and that's going to give away the Infernal Drake, definitely. Canyon not even in the area. He's taking his Krug Camp. And 2 more of those, please, says DAMWON.
That's a really big pickup for them. For the Camille, MF, and the Zoe. And even the Yuumi, I guess a little bit. Probably not all that much value really going to her. Sejuani obviously making the worst of it.
Yep.
As Oblivion Orb, I believe, was just picked up on ShowMaker, even though there is Merc-Treads, Quicksilver Sash on the enemy team.
But the Kalista doesn't have
The
any magic
Kalista
resist.
doesn't have any magic resist, but she will later.
Oh yeah, the next
So,
item almost definitely will be.
Right now,
QSS,
there's
like that.
at the time of ShowMaker's purchase, there's 4.5 minutes until the next major neutral. If you have 1,600 gold, or maybe even a little excess, you factor in what ShowMaker's assumed gold per minute is going to be, and just build towards Void Staff.
Yeah, or Death Cap.
Well,
If you're not, you know.
it's just so bizarre why he would pick up Oblivion Orb and Ice if he builds a Morello. I don't know what to say anymore, Alice.
Well, I mean, we've heard it all before,
Doesn't
so you
want
don't really
games.
need to say anymore. But yeah, doesn't want games. Doesn't
Gains.
win games? Gains.
Gains.
Right.
Yeah, that word.
Well, what their name could stand for is Drafts Win Games. That's a little bit ironic at this point in time, especially now that Nuclear is being put out of position. Pretty cookie cutter there with the heroic entrance, but it works. Tried and tested as now Canyon, not too many options. He was waiting for an opportunity to throw out something to try and get a re-engage, but didn't actually do anything whatsoever, and Nuclear has just been put in the ground. Now Griffin breathe a sigh of relief.
And slowly but surely, these things keep allowing them a sliver of hope inside of the game. Even though the Camille is really getting scary. Gonna have the Ravenous Hydra soon completed.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes next with the build as well. Will it be straight into the Guardian Angel, or will it be Steric's Gauge to add a little bit more firepower and defensiveness as far as that 2v1 or the 1v1 that he's going to see, as we're going to check out this engage. Tarzan just taxiing right on in there.
And there's really nothing that MF can end up doing there. Although in the replay it showed she doesn't have Flash, but in live it's showing that Nuclear does have Flash, so that's a little bit bizarre.
Maybe just Hummer. I don't know. What was the cooldown in the replay?
Looked very big in the replay.
All right.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
Definitely strange.
But as the game stands right now, there's no reason to really fight, so all that we're having is a vision clearing over and over. And then eventually Scuttlecrab on the right-hand side will end up coming up. DAMWON going to be the ones to pick that up. We'll see where the next respawn of it ends up being, and then DAMWON will get the next Infernal most likely, as Griffin still probably aren't going to be in a position to fight them. And then that's going to threaten Soul Point for Infernal Dragon, which is insane for their team comp.
So I guess we pack it up until then, right?
Yeah, what would you... Okay, sure.
Well, we'll see whether it does follow the script that you have in front of you. I wasn't expecting you to cheat this series, but turns out every time the script is available, the leaked script himself cannot help but go towards it. Is Irove going to get chunked underneath this turret? DAMWON certainly with this opportunity, with this composition. Minion wave dealt with.
Whoa!
Good night, Irove. ShowMaker just pops it. And that is going to really spill over as Sword has to Umbral Dash to get out of the way of this inner turret. Opening up the map here for DAMWON, extending the gold lead. 5,000 is approximately that one. ShowMaker once again just looking for bubbles. And Nuguri, he ain't stopping.
Yeah. Oh, Nuguri caught underneath the turret.
Too worried right now, but some of these Paddle Stars and Trouble Bubbles will need to land.
All that they're doing right now is just trying to clear all of the minion waves, crash them into the turrets, fall back. Now they'll try to pick up the Infernal Dragon, although Nuclear looks like he's genuinely seeking a recall. There's Dragon in 20 seconds. He has Home Guard. He also has Strut on MF.
And also probably has Infinity Edge that he wants to purchase as well. Stopwatch is done. They know that there's going to be a fight around here, and they've maximized the damage output of the MF.
So they end up losing priority to the Dragon. They should end up losing the Scuttlecrab.
Yep, they are going to do that.
They end up getting it. And now MF back down in close proximity. Is DAMWON just going to start the Infernal Drake?
Well, I think they can. They've got double smite now as well, with ShowMaker picking one up there. As you can see, Tarzan, I believe, left one on the ground, but that is going to be Infernal Drake taken, and Soul Point locked down.
Yeah.
It's going to have a look at this from ShowMaker. This is what happens when you've got just vision everywhere. Good night. I don't think he needed the Proto Belt, but added it on.
Well, he wanted to bring out the belt. Why does Zoe have Morello? Hello?
Copying.
Oh, okay.
Copying the item build.
The Forbidden Book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ucal missed out on the Luden's Echo, but otherwise they're the same.
It's all right.
Yeah. It's an entire Luden's Echo that he's behind. As the Zoe's certainly in a great position this game. ShowMaker also now at the stage of the game where Zoe is so valuable. As yes, gold has been falling off a cliff. You can see that exact moment about 3.5 minutes into this game where everything went wrong. Those first 4 kills for DAMWON certainly felt like it turned the elevation of this walk for Griffin very, very high.
And honestly, after those kills, though, nothing really happened that much outside of a few very bizarre deaths.
And also Nuguri getting camped, right? Certainly didn't work out. As all right, we're looking for it. Not quite able to get the damage done after the Paddle Star and the bullet time. Tarzan spotted. ShowMaker not finding the angle.
And DAMWON just continue to keep getting leads as they're coming for Nuguri.
Get to the Baron or to an inhibitor turret, I guess, is going to be the answer here. Is okay. Irove really wanted to chase after this kill. That was Narnia direction, as Nuguri needs to walk over to the members of Griffin and start emote spamming. That's what you do. That's the ideal play in that scenario. Like the taunt button, but they'll take an inhibitor topside and they'll move over towards the Baron, and DAMWON have this game well and truly in their clutches. Well, bubble lands. As Tarzan trying to force this, but it might be too aggressive. The flash comes in immediately. ShowMaker's going to cleanse it. Final chapter doesn't go in the right direction, and the exhaust is almost unnecessary onto Sword because he dies so fast. Tarzan now in the middle of 3 members and will just be destroyed. Viper takes one with him, but eventually goes down as well. And could this just be the end of the game as it stands? I think the answer might be yes.
Well, the minion wave is pretty far away in top lane, but they have a really close one here in mid. And with the Camille, I think this is definitely going to be the end of the game. 20 seconds on everyone is going to be too long.
Yep. And at 29 minutes into this game, after that brilliant 3-minute play that DWG were able to come out on the top of, they do close this one out in the end. 12-5. I was expecting, honestly, a 2-0 from DWG, but they are the victors. They are going to be able to walk away with this one.